Yesterday, I reviewed the very first episode of the only season that Ironheart will ever get. There again, it has rotted on shelves for over 2.5 years. I just want to make that perfectly clear. And in an effort to raise money to complete her suit, she got expelled from MIT, stole the suit, and then immediately fell into a life of crime. Somehow that makes white people racist. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. After the first episode concluded, our hero, who currently is a thief and fallen into a life of crime immediately, has just downloaded her brain algorithm something or other to create an AI for her suit. And because she was thinking about her bestest friend ever, who was cut down in a drive-by shooting in the hood. Yeah, they went there. It created her bestest friend. So now her bestest friend is the AI for the Iron Suit. Bish. Wherever will this journey go next? Spoiler alert, downhill. Rapidly downhill. Who are you? Says Riri, who's apparently a genius. I mean, if the audience can work it out immediately, why can't the genius work out what's happened? Because it's exceptionally obvious. But there again, that's the problem when you create geniuses for your show. You see, the genius can only be as smart as the writer. And so if the writer's crap, then you get a bit of a retarded genius. Riri. So Riri decides that she needs to erase the AI because she doesn't want the image of her best friend who's deceased, and she's going to start over again. Okay, that's all well and good. The thing about this scene is, though, the actress who's playing Natalie exhibits so much more charisma and personality than the main character themselves, and would probably have been a much better fit to actually be Riri Williams and a likable character. Now that's going to be pretty awkward going forward, because once again, things like your robots, like with Rogue One, etc., your little puppets, like with The Mandalorian, or in this case, the AI, is going to outshine your main character at every single turn. No.
The suit is literal perfection.
It will be. When it fits a woman.
Holy shit. When your show is literally channeling the CW, you know you got massive problems.
You got a boy in here? No. A girl?
Won't be a Marvel show unless you got that little chestnut in there somewhere. Everybody's gay, Dave. Everybody's gay. What? Even Riri Williams? Everybody's gay, Dave. Do you know that would have worked if Red Dwarf came out today? Holy shit.
Do not do anything until I get back. As you wish, Master Riri.
I ain't touching that with a barge pole, mate. So this is Sheila Zarete, the CEO of Tunnel. That's how it's pronounced. And what she's doing is she's using the disused underground of Chicago to create these tunnels where commuters can come down and drive underneath all the traffic, saving a lot of time, saving a lot of effort, taking congestion off the streets, etc. So, of course, the villains, they want to extort her. They want to get in on this action and get some of that do-re-mi. Nefarious stuff from villains, n'est-ce pas? So, of course, Ironheart's going to join them on this because she's now a criminal. Now, the way that the criminals are justifying trying to extort this woman is that her tunnels her underground tunnels are destroying whole communities. Sorry, I'm a little bit confused. How are the tunnels, the underground tunnels, tunnels, let's say, run through very much every major metropolitan city because there are fucking subways which have trains in them. How will those tunnels displace communities on the This is fucking dumb. You're stupid. Your story's stupid. It makes no sense. Sorry, we can't run a sewerage system through your neighborhood because we'd have to displace communities that are above ground. Fuck, this show's retarded. Riri, of course, who's just motivated by greed, immediately asks, when do we get paid? Our hero. GG, Marvel. Now, I know a lot of you are going to know this already, but just for those who don't, when you are in a conspiratorial group of criminals, it doesn't matter what your role in that group is. You could be the lookout, you could be the getaway driver. It doesn't matter. All of you are responsible for every single solitary crime that is committed. So if somebody was to be killed, you are responsible for murder. If there is a theft, you're responsible for theft. If there is damage, you're responsible for those damages. So everybody here is going to be responsible for every single solitary crime that is committed while they're working as a group. In other words, Riri is going to rack up multiple felonies on her very first job. We have another scene where the actress who's playing Natalie displays why she's probably far more capable of pulling off Riri Williams. Much more likable, better actress. She emotes well, as opposed to Ironheart herself, Riri Williams, who constantly has a face like a bulldog licking piss off a thistle. The Natalie AI talks to Riri about something that they used to do. They used to call each other Bonnie and Clyde. Riri would be Jay-Z. Natalie would be Beyonce. That sounds par for the course. And then Riri, the genius, says, how do you know something that only Natalie would know? Well, it's not just what Natalie would know, you dumb bint. It's what you know as well, and you just downloaded her into the fucking AI. Are you a genius or are you retarded? Which one are you? Because right now, you're really kind of leaning onto the other side. So Riri tethers the AI to her laptop to get it out of her suit. Whatever. And then she has to drag the suit all the way over to another part of town. So she's already put it on this kid's cart that she's rented for $40. She's already dragged it to the train station. She's already put it onto the train where everybody around doesn't give a flying fuck. But only then does she see the necessity to steal a man's flag and drape it over the suit so people can't see the suit. Ladies and gentlemen, your Marvel superhero genius. You know, this series has the same, and surprise, surprise, made by Disney as well, has the same energy as Kenobi, as that Inquisition female. Her plan to get to Darth Vader, to kill Darth Vader, to get revenge for all of the Jedi that Anakin Skywalker killed. Her plan was to kill a bunch of Jedi so that she could get closer to Darth Vader. It's the same stupid, retarded storytelling They have no clue how to fit things together properly and make it make sense. A dog took a shit. I know exactly how it feels. So this brings us to useless white male character because, again, it's a Disney show, so that's the only way that white characters can be portrayed. Weak, puny, ineffectual, no masculinity whatsoever, no drive. Anyway, and he goes to the woman whose dog just pooped and says, could you stop letting your dog poop on my lawn? Well, the dog actually pooped at what would be on this side of the road there. So it isn't actually your lawn. Your boundary ends here, like everybody else's does. And from the pavement, the sidewalk, as you may say there, here on in, belongs to the city. So her dog isn't pooping on your lawn. And if you wanted to show that it has been pooping on your lawn, then why didn't you put the dog on the lawn to poop? And I know this bit's gone on way too long than it should have, but it's the small details that make no sense that compound the big details which make no sense. And that's why probably your show makes no sense, because none of you have taken the time or care or attention to do things properly. So after an excruciatingly long scene that should never have happened, we can now establish that this guy is a fucking loser. Perfect for Riri to therefore consistently emasculate at every turn. And then his grocery bag bursts open and everything pours out because we really want to establish that this guy is the ultimate uber incel white boy. So he introduces himself as Joe and he asks her what she's called. And she says, I'm Riri. And he's like, what you got over there? And he points to a cart. And she says, oh, I'm selling chocolate bars for my troop. So I think that means the Girl Scout cookies or whatever. And he immediately says, oh, well, you need a permit for that, but I'm going to overlook it because I'm a nice guy. And I'm also racist because you're black and therefore you must be an underprivileged youth. Why is it, or why is this consistent fantasy that all white people are racist? Oh, that's because all white people are racist. No, it's the intersectional fantasy. I mean, it literally gets them off, you know what I mean? Sees white person, must be racist. I mean, she could have had a permit. She could have just said, actually, I've got my permit right here. I mean, we all know that she doesn't have a permit and that she's a disgusting criminal, but that's by the by. But we also now have to establish that the loser incel white boy is a racist. Fuck.
With a box of scraps!
Hey guys, do you know how all white people have live, laugh, love signs all over their house? Is that fucking hilarious? Fucking white people, eh? Live, life, love. Like, crackers can't get enough of that shit. This guy's going to turn out to be Obadiah's son. So Joe, who's meant to be this black market facilitator of items that she needs to fix her suit, just allows Riri to rampage through his house, turning over cushions, looking for his stash, and he just stands there like a good, ineffectual white boy incel and does nothing as the criminal does more criminal activities. She's the hero of the story. Apparently. apparently. So the hero, the hero Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, says to Joe that if he doesn't help her, then she's going to make an anonymous call to the FBI and have him arrested and placed into federal prison for his black market dealings on the dark web. Yes, we have now resorted to blackmail as our hero racks up even more crimes. So I have a legitimate question here. Why do we like Riri Williams? What has she done that makes us, as the audience, gravitate towards this character and like her? Now, I know all the pathetic political pundits will be, well, because she's black and therefore you must like everything, otherwise you're racist, because, of course, they are the actual racists and they don't have any skin in this game. They don't care about pop culture. They don't care about any of this stuff. It's just all a stupid game to them. But as an actual member of the audience who may have standards, why are we meant to like Riri? What has she exhibited to us that makes us want to root for her and gravitate towards her? The answer is nothing. She doesn't have a nice personality. She isn't grateful. She isn't humble. She hasn't done anything whatsoever that makes her in any capacity heroic. All she's done is be surly. She's been ungrateful. She's been entitled. She's been a bitch. She's just tried to go straight into crime to earn money. Everything about this character is utterly unlikable. So I ask again, why should we root for Riri Williams? The answer is we shouldn't. And this is why all these TV shows and movies are failing miserably. You don't have a single clue how to write a hero anymore because you're so twisted in your intersectionality and your victimhood complex that you don't allow your character to actually shine. He immediately backs down. Oh, I could never exist in prison. Have you seen Orange is the New Black? Ha ha. I think the show has done a very good job of showing what a little bitch this character is. Thank you. Joe then starts crying as he's driving her to his stash. She asks why. He says, oh, it's just totally involuntary. The show is spending an exorbitant amount of time on trying to make what is the only white character in the show exceedingly pathetic. I wonder why. I'm going to have a big think about this one. Leave it with me. Let's come back later. I might have figured it out. Riri says that, are you crying because I'm blackmailing you? Yeah, she's openly admitting to the blackmail. And he says, no, I get blackmailed twice a day. To which Riri, shocked, is like, what are you into if you get blackmailed twice a day? Well, Riri, you're 50% of today's blackmail ratio, sweetheart. So all the stuff that you're involved in, most likely, you're meant to be a genius, but you're a dumb bint. When the genius can't figure out what the dark web black market reseller of illicit goods could potentially be up to, then there's really no hope for this show to create anything of any complexity that might make the viewer go, wow, that was clever. We're fucked. And here we go again. Another classic line that displays that this isn't a hero, this is a villain. Joe, you gotta demand respect. Respect is earned. Respect cannot be demanded. WWE wrestling heels demand respect because it's cheap heat to get the audience to boo. If you don't understand that by now, there is no helping you whatsoever. But if you want respect, little lady, you gotta get it earned. And you're not in any position to be earning any respect because you're a piece of shit. Don't look at me. It's the way you've been written. The Natalie AI DDoS attacks her way out of the firewalls and out of the laptop and projects herself onto Riri's mum's painting. Again, this is my favorite character in the show because she actually exhibits likable qualities. She's bubbly, she's energetic, she smiles, she's cheeky. She's got all the kind of personality traits that you can actually get behind and support. Sadly, relegated to AI, why a miserable bin is going around the rest of the show making herself a criminal. So the way less than dynamic duo are now singing Alanis Morissette songs in the car together. Because I guess they traveled back to 1997 when that shit was actually relevant. I can only imagine that this is the writer inserting themselves or their likes into the show. But in actual regards to what this adds or what exactly is meant to be going on here, you've lost me. But as they're bonding, don't you see that they're bonding over the near 30-year-old song? You know, this guy's meant to be 36 in the show. He would have been 6 years old when this came out. So yeah, they're bonding over the musician, the woman who's singing about splitting with her boyfriend and what a prick her ex-boyfriend is and what a wanker her ex-boyfriend is. You know, the 36-year-old white man is bonding over the Alanis Morissette. Fuck my ass, mouth and tits. Oh my God. What am I watching? What the fuck am I watching? He's got one missile or bazooka in his bunker of illicit goods. And Riri Williams says, "Are you planning a global takeover?" I honestly, right, this is a legitimate question. Is she fucking retarded? I'm thinking that she's massively fucking retarded now. Do you think this guy who just has live, laugh, love signs everywhere because them white people has one bazooka and he's capable of taking over the fucking world? How can this show get any fucking more dumb? And yet, here we are. Joe opens up about how he has this bunker with all this illegal shit because he wanted to feel closer to his dad, who was an engineer. Of course, it's going to be revealed that his father's Obadiah, and that he believed tech was the future, and Joe, to some extent, agrees with that. He feels that you can use tech to replace amputated limbs, lost limbs, pacemakers, stuff like this. Tech can help people in that manner. And then he asks Riri, "Why did you make the suit?" She says, "'Cause I could. 'Cause I could." Just mimicking what her stepfather said. You know, her stepfather who was gunned down in a drive-by shooting in the hood. Because this whole show is full of racial stereotypes of every fucking color. And it wasn't, I mean, it was, but it was a time where Riri could have actually have opened up herself and says, "I want to do good. I want to use the suit to create other suits that maybe the firefighters can use or the police can use that will help them in potentially lethal situations, etc." and all this kind of stuff. No, it's because I could. Even when the moment arises, she doesn't allow herself to become potentially likable or to display anything other than just being a conceited cow. More nonsensical crap here. Joe refuses to hand a part to Riri because he says he'll get his fingerprints on the item. So she says, "We'll use gloves." And he's like, "Well, the wind could blow a hair follicle onto it, even though they're in a bunker." And it's setting up that, you know, he doesn't want to get any sort of incriminating DNA anywhere. And I'm like, what? Like the door handle to your fucking bunker that you open and close, leaving your fingerprints there at all times? Smart people didn't write this show. Very stupid people did. Riri says that the suit doesn't have an arc reactor because it's solar powered and wind powered. Oh, okay. I mean, I could understand solar powered as it charges up through the sun, even though we haven't seen at any point her have it outside charging whatsoever. Wind powered? I'm kind of confused how you think that would work. Never mind. Yes. So I think that's how they're trying to get around the no arc reactor. You know, the arc reactor that Tony Stark made.
In a cave with a box of scraps!
Looks like it's time to be gay, do crime. Butch Colostomy and the Suntrans kids are smacking around the guards, and I'm no police officer, and I can't profess to know the law to its absolute nth degree, but I can see here that there's been criminal damage, assault with a deadly weapon, assault and battery. There's going to be coercion. There's going to be blackmail. There's going to be a multitude of felonies which happen here, and Riri Williams is responsible in all of them. And then Natalie manages to infiltrate her suit, which causes her to drop the drive, which falls down a very coincidentally placed drain. But I'm okay with all of this because Natalie's the only fun part of this goddamn show. And to see her turn up and ruin Riri's day gets a 10 out of 10 from me. By the way, I'd like to take this opportunity to say that Shea Coulee couldn't act if their life depended on it. And they pretend for a living. Riri is now mad at Natalie because Natalie has prevented her from doing crime. Natalie manages to find a way to compensate for the drive being dropped, and it's up to Shea Coulee's, whatever the character's called, to switch over the networks to prevent Riri from getting squashed like a bug, and she nearly dies. Oh well. Better luck next time, eh? So then the owner of Tunnel, the CEO, is in a car and the hood appears and says, "Ha! My hackers have taken over your system. We now run Tunnel. But we need to make this nice and legal, this extortion. So here's a contract for you to sign that says that we're going to look after Tunnel and you're going to pay us a lot of money to do so." And I'm thinking, okay, so she can sign the contract, give it back to you, and then as soon as you fuckety by, she just calls the cops and says, "Hey, I was hijacked in my car," and there's likely going to be cameras everywhere, probably cameras in the actual car itself because it's 2025 and not 1851. And then she's going to say, "I had to sign this under duress." And does the hood want to appear in court to challenge this? I don't think so. Why is this show so dumb and stupid? Fuck, man. Because I'm absolutely sure that there were no cameras in this control room where all the characters came in with their faces totally revealed so that they could be easily identified. Your show is fucking dog shit. You're not even trying. You don't care. Oh, man. A brave security guard is trying to do his job. He's got a gun trained on Riri. Riri's AI, Natalie, starts to glitch out, and so it can't lower the helmet, even though the guy's now got a good look at her face. Don't worry about that. And he's just trying to protect what he's paid to do while she's being gay and doing crime. I'm praying for the bullet to win here, but unfortunately, the Hood comes along and shoots the security guard, wounding him. And so we have more criminal charges to add to the list. Riri pretends that she has a conscience, not joining in the festivities of the Be Gay Do Crime. She says, ugh, somebody nearly died. And they're like, well, he didn't, so everything's okay. So in Riri's eyes, it doesn't matter all the other crimes that were committed, the extortion, the threats, the blackmail, the criminal damage, all that stuff, the assault with a deadly weapon. None of that matters. If that security guard had died, that's the only time that she would have given a shit. And as we're going to see from the next episode, she's going to start participating in the murder itself. So don't worry. This little attempt at some sort of consequential behavior is going to be gone real quick. The criminals celebrate being criminals and talk about doing more crime. Riri's totally in on all of this. There isn't a point now between here and the next criminal activity that she in any way, shape, or form tries to reach out, maybe to a conda, maybe to a family, to somebody to say, oh, I'm getting myself in really deep here. I've made so many mistakes. No. She gets paid, she gets some money, and she's all right. Because she's doing what she wants to do for herself, which is get a suit sorted. Because this is a selfish, self-centered, narcissistical little bitch. Riri calls in Natalie when she leaves the rest of the crooks, and she wants to know why she froze, although it's clearly got something to do with the drive-by and the algorithm that came through, and also potentially Parker, aka the Hood's powers as well. Not too difficult to work out. She then says that there was some really weird energy emitting from Parker, and that she better be careful because I think he's wrapped up in some sketchy shit. Natalie, she's already been involved in the sketchy shit. She's balls deep inside of the sketchy shit, okay? But it's really sort of calling the link that he's going to have to Mephisto. But that's going to come later on. Okay, this is weird. She's on a date of sorts with her, what is he called? I have no idea what that character's called. I don't give a shit. And it ends up them talking about the mixtape and the fact that Natalie was on the mixtape. And it seems like it was purposely meant to be there. So now I'm really confused. Anyway, the good news is I don't give a flying fuck. So let's move on. We get a better look at the Hood's tattoo, and it's clearly related to Mephisto. And Mephisto is either fulfilling his desires and allowing him to be gay, do crime, sort of thing. I'm, again, confused as to what we're meant to be feeling about these characters. They are criminals. They are doing bad stuff. So we can't be empathizing with them. You know, we can't be thinking, oh, poor guy, he's in a lot of pain because of the deal that he's made with Mephisto. But Riri, again, you're like, why do we care about Riri? We don't. So what's the point of this whole fucking show? Legit, what's the point? Hey, look, Joe's got another live, laugh, love sign. Them white boys be crazy. Then he steps into the doggy poo, which isn't on his property, and decides to go across and destroy all the flowers in his neighbor's garden who has the dog. Because the worm is turning, and Joe's gonna get that respect, yo. Yeah, whatever. And it ends with him with a flower in his mouth and the Alanis Morissette anthem blaring away, because, of course, that was the anthem of all white boys in the 90s. Holy crap. This is a mitigated dog shit. So 2 episodes down, absolutely everybody is unlikable, apart from Natalie, who is the most fun thing in the show. She actually looks like she's enjoying her time on the screen. She's exhibiting some personality, which is a lot more than the rest of the bloody cast is. But it's episode 3 where Riri really gets into the hole, because she's going to be murdering people. I'll see you tomorrow for the next review. Until then, you take care. Goodbye, Balooble.